candy again.
Yeah. Here's what I love about this show. You and I go, and this is like a new word that's come up on TikTok and everything recently, and I can't stop using. Okay. Yapping is the word.
Yeah.
And you and I are professional yappers, and we go from off-air yapping to on-air yapping.
Yeah.
And there's always a moment where Susie inevitably has to like shut me up or like tell me to like wrap. She's like, okay, let's get this thing going. She does like the kind of like the you're getting off the phone move and saying goodbye. But it's really just to pause one conversation to then just start another conversation with her.
Push record
and so
here.
there's a part of me that's like, oh, and then I'm like, yay, but yay. So
it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's starting again.
Yeah, like that. So that's the little ride I go on before we start the episode. And you were wondering, listeners.
Well, because our usual pattern, episode 840, is we shit talk before we start recording, and we go through like, the news of the day, like what did you do this weekend, BBB.
Yep.
And can you believe so-and-so? Can you believe it? No, we can't believe it.
Yep.
And then
give each other, it's like our own little personal therapy sesh.
Yeah. And then on we go with the show.
Yeah.
So it is almost seamless, but there are two distinct, like I can't shit talk regular people on our
It's so funny when you
podcast.
say shit talk because you actually don't shit talk. This is like what we've said before. When she shit talks, it's really just her having enlightened awareness about another individual circumstance, and she calls it that because she's like, yeah, and they annoy me. But I understand that. I'm like, okay.
Sarah, we should
You're
make
like,
a shirt that's like a dictionary thing where it says shit talk and then like, noun.
The real definition. Yes.
What did you just call it? You were like, it's just enlightened.
I don't know, but it sounded good,
I gotta
right?
play that back because it sounded real good and way better than what shit talk.
Right. Listen, if therapists are good at therapists are going to reframe.
I love a reframe.
We're gonna reframe. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Welcome to the show. Do you have anything you want to share? Any personal stories?
I feel like I did. There was something that I was angry about, but I don't remember.
Well,
but
I'll tell you what
it'll
I
probably
was
come back to
happy
me.
about. How about that?
Happy. That's way better.
So I recently celebrated my birthday, my 45th birthday.
Oh, that's such a nice number.
Is it?
I will say, I didn't know what number it was. I do forget that. And like, does it matter that I'm taking over this conversation for 10 seconds. Does it matter that I don't remember what number, even though I remember the date and year and all that? Okay. I thought that.
I wish I didn't remember the number.
Okay, because I'm like, who cares? Just young and beautiful and like buttercup in the morning dew as the sunlight catches it.
That is
First
so
thing,
true.
ray of sunshine, rainbow hitting it. And also what I realized, like 2 days after your birthday when I was hanging out with some other friends, is I didn't do that thing where you post something on Instagram that says like, happy birthday, this person,
Yes.
and blah, blah, blah.
No.
And then my stomach sank, and the people I was with were like, she's an adult, and I think she's going to be okay because, like, didn't you, like,
Can
show
you
it?
imagine if I was like...
That's what they said. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
And so and then I ran through a past trauma where something had happened where someone got upset about that. If you think back in the Rolodex
towards you.
Yeah, friends that I'm
dang.
no longer friends with.
I
Somebody
remember.
could come up. Yeah. So I think maybe that skewed it a little bit, but I just
No,
wanted
you
to
don't ever
run
have to
by
do
that. No pressure putting you on the air while we have everybody listening. Tell me exactly how you feel.
No. Even my brother, he did one on Instagram. He played Happy Birthday on the guitar, but he put it in his close friends. And he was like, I put it in close friends because I assumed you didn't want anyone to know it was your birthday.
It could go either way.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. So I'm like, what I love about you and why we work is that you value IRL
I do.
action and friendship. And I think the place I show up best is IRL, like
Listen, you have nothing
in
to
person.
prove.
So
You are...
but I did have a moment where I was like, oh, what if
Sarah.
she's upset about that and she feels not seen? and I want everybody to celebrate her birthday. So now you listeners who are like, Sarah's being cuckoo crazy, play into this insanity of mine and go over to Susie's Instagram right now and wish her a happy birthday. You don't even need to put belated in front of it. Just regular old happy birthday.
Let's
so much so that like the balloons start coming up on her phone and stuff like that.
I do love the balloons on the phone,
right?
thing.
You love that. Who doesn't love that?
That is a treat.
Yeah, I just want to throw the word celebration into like my, daily like vocabulary just to experience that. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about your.
You know me, I'm not like a big woo-woo girl or a spiritual or religious gal, despite my credentials. But something happened on my birthday that felt, as my mom would say, ordained.
Wait. I am pulling up a chair. I am getting comfortable. If I had a tea, I would blow on it. And this is gather around the fire, kids. Oh, this is going to be cool. Okay. I thought this day would never come.
Maybe I've set the bar too high.
No, it's anything. The fact that you started this with, I'm not spiritual, but
I'm
already in.
Okay. Well, okay. So we went to Los Angeles for a little getaway, and I insisted that we stayed at my favorite hotel in the whole wide world, which is the Sunset Marquis. And the reason that I love it is because it's guaranteed hilarity. It's very much like Lucy and Ethel trying to infiltrate Hollywood type of deal. It caters to musicians.
Cool.
So you remember when I told the story about Matt Neroni going to L.A. and he wanted to see a celebrity, and I was like, well, we got to go to the Sunset Marquis then.
Yeah.
And he's a rock guy. And we were sitting at the bar, and it was empty and just tumbleweeds running through there. And then next thing you know, Debbie Harry walks through with a Blondie shirt on.
Yes.
That's the Sunset
right.
Marquis.
And we decided she's allowed to wear the Blondie shirt because,
exactly.
Yes.
So,
I remember this.
Up until my birthday this year, Debbie Harry was my favorite Sunset Marquis moment. But for me personally, the one that I got to have on my birthday is now the ultimate.
I'm waiting on pins and needles. Tell me right now. What if she was cut to a commercial break right now? You should.
And you know what else I love?
Yeah, you just read from our sponsor right now. I think you should.
I will.
I set myself up for that.
You know what else I love? Is my Caraway cookware and bakeware. You know why? Because it's friggin' great. Just like the Sunset Marquis. Every item I've ever gotten, they have a new collection, the stainless steel, that is outstanding. The frying pan, amazing. This stuff is non-stick, but non-toxic, and that's what makes it magical. But also they have all kinds of colors that will look so cute in your kitchen. But it works the best. Anything you bake in this stuff is going to slide right out. It's amazing. I'm telling you. Just as a reminder, their internet famous cookware set comes with the sauté pan, fry pan, Dutch oven, and saucepan, plus lids for all of them, a canvas lid holder, and magnetic pan rack for storage. It's the ultimate kitchen setup and will save you $150 versus buying the items individually. Plus, if you visit carawayhome.com/braincandy, you can take an additional 10% off your next purchase. The deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/braincandy or use braincandy at checkout. And don't forget to mention that you heard about Caraway from us in their post-purchase survey. Caraway non-toxic cookware made modern. I love that you forced me to do a cliffhanger. Okay. Do you remember?
See, this is exciting because my ADD ass forgot what the hell we were talking about.
Didn't even know.
I got distracted. I found my CBD wellness gummies next to me. I'm like, I'm going to pop one of these. That'll be nice. I totally got distracted. And then you reminded me. I'm like, whoa, excited again. So
cliffhanger.
That's fun. That was like a roller coaster with 2 dips.
So do you remember, I guess it was a little while ago, I talked about the Long Promised Road, which is the documentary about Brian Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The lead.
Yes.
He's actually not the lead singer, but he wrote and produced all the songs, and he's, a genius for the Beach Boys. Mm-hmm. And, Pet Sounds, the whole shenan. I love him with all my heart. He is an old fella. And that documentary was really only possible because there was a journalist from Rolling Stone named Jason Fine who became like known as the Brian Wilson Whisperer, you know, because he has like mental health issues and schizoaffective disorder, and he's like a different kind of person. And Jason's just like okay with that and fine with it. And so it has patience. And so they developed this rapport. And then they eventually, years and years later, created Long Promised Road, which is the documentary that I love, where they drive around Los Angeles and just play music and talk about it. We were sitting at the Sunset Marquee, and I heard this voice. And I was like, I know that voice.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I saw this person walk by, and I was like, OMG, that is Jason Fine. I messaged him on Instagram, and I was like, I'm sorry, but did I just see you at the Sunset Marquee? Because
you didn't even say hi in the moment?
Not at that time, but I said, just so you know, if I see you again, it's going to be a scene.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my friend Ryan White, who made The Keepers and Dr. Ruth documentary and a gazillion other things. Good Night, Oppie.
Yes.
He came to the Sunset Marquee with his husband, and we were frolicking and shenaniganing. And Lincoln and Adam went to bed, and so that's when the real fun starts. And with my gays, and we went to the hotel bar, and in walks Jason Fine.
Susie!
I know, it was awesome, Sarah. I just want to say, like, even though it's because of the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson that I know of him, he's a really magical person, and he's a really special human being. And so I try to collect magical people.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry, but you're stuck with me. And he was like, I'm happy to be stuck with you. And I was like, Huey Lewis, oh my God. I love you.
Okay, and that is a reflection of who you are, because you do not get access to the magical people if you don't have some sprinkles of fairy dust. Yes.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. It was awesome. And I love him. So if you're listening, he is not. I love you, Jason Fine.
That is, well, we should just send this clip to him just so he can see.
I'll tell you what else is the best, and that is my Honey Love leggings.
Definitely. If you're flying on an airplane to LA, which you were, that's going to be your choice travel thing.
There was a brainiac that messaged us the other day and was like, okay, should I get the leggings or the bra? It's a tough call. For me, it's the leggings because my boobs are fake, and so they don't need bra.
Right.
As some people's do.
Yeah. If I had boobs, I would probably choose bra.
Yeah.
But since I don't, I choose leggings.
The crossover bra is super comfortable. All of their stuff is really, really nice. Honey Love is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/braincandy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/braincandy to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort. Elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. Also, I got an accordion.
Oh my gosh. See, useful. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. This is great.
See, here's the thing. Here's what I want to know. You know how I always accuse you of hating like national music, like mariachi? Obviously, polka is like shit on all the time, but I don't understand like the accordion, why people shit on it. It's so hard to play. And
I get it.
Like nobody shits on the bagpipes like that. Like everyone thinks it's like nice for a funeral.
You know what I don't, and this is just me talking.
Yeah.
What I don't like, what I feel the accordion does.
Yeah.
Is it doesn't allow for a natural pause. It's kind of like talking, like when you're talking through exhaling, like, hi, my name is Sarah. Nice to meet you. like it feels like you're like talking as I'm breathing in, and then I'm talking as I'm exhaling.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Breathing in and exhaling. And like, I can't even do that. That's very hard on the lungs. Don't try at home.
That's what I mean. It's a hard instrument.
No, I get it. Like, I totally see it. But it feels like it's the, like it's the, whereas
You want
when
to
I
break.
think of other instruments, there's a pause, even between like a strum or... You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
That's the only thing I could put my finger on. If I had to...
But same for the bagpipes,
Yeah,
and people
also
seem to
not
think
a
they're
fan.
very regal. I think it's funny though that like for real, when I was like, "Hey, Ed, I want an accordion for my birthday," like for me, it's like a bit. It's sort of like when I
it's a
rented
great
the
bit.
RV.
Yeah.
It's like funny to me, but then it's like, oh, that's a really fancy instrument that costs a lot of money, and then he actually buys it, and I'm like, oh my God, we just spent way too much money on an accordion.
Yeah, that's a bit. But also...
So now I have to learn how to play the accordion.
This is great. I love this for you.
Okay, let's get into it.
It needs to be documented. We haven't even... Okay.
I know.
These are great stories.
We have to talk about the Australian breaking.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I hate it, love it, hate it, I love it. I actually do now love it. In the beginning, it was cringe, and I was like, oh my God, I can't watch this. But now,
You kind of love it?
Listen, I love a story that unites the nations. And I feel like breakdancing
This
gal
is what's bringing us together.
has brought us all together.
All right. So I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but I've been spreading the word that they do not want to be called break dancers, and they don't want it to be called
breakers, right?
They're breakers,
B-boys
and it's
B
called
girls.
breaking. B-boys, B-girls. They do not like any dancing implications.
I'm not crazy about the B-boy, B-girl thing, but
And
considering
it's dancing.
most of them are, I think, under 21, except our friend from Australia.
How old is
I'll allow
that
it.
hooker?
Older, because she's a professor. Do you know about her background? Yes, okay.
Her background.
Come on,
Well,
but
it
you
ain't
got-
dancing.
It's like those who can't do teach. The literal definition of that.
All right. If you did not happen to watch the Olympics, I pity you because it was great all around. But this particular event
I'm in post-Olympic
really stole the
depression.
show because this Australian gal really sucked at breaking. And
I mean, if imagine, here's what I want you to imagine. Imagine Susie breakdancing.
I was just going to say.
To the accordion.
Totally.
Susie breakdancing, I think, would be close to maybe me breakdancing, because I would be terrible.
Well, I guess so because we don't know how to do it.
Fair, so the
But-
lady who's like, this isn't hip hop, this is hip hop. When you dance like this, it's hip hop. And it's like
No.
an old, do you know what I'm talking about?
I can picture it like 80s.
Yeah, and she's in a
Yeah.
blue suit, and she's like, when you put your hands like this and you bend it beneath, that's hip hop. And she just, it's like the whitest lady telling you what hip hop is, and it is so hilarious. And it is that video vibes.
Okay, so it turns out that she's a PhD in cultural studies, I think, and her focus is breaking. And so she knows. Why are you laughing?
Because it's so great. Because I just love that somebody who studies it
It's not
went to
great.
the Olympics. I love it. I love the story. I don't care. Okay.
All right, well, that's fine because
Sorry,
it was
I got
entertaining.
excited. The
I
laugh
love the
was
entertainment.
uncontrollable.
How did it happen, Sarah? Because in every other don't
Australia's a small country.
do it. It is not a small country.
Breaking
Listen.
is new there.
There is no way they had any kind of tournament or what do they
Okay.
call that? Qualifiers?
Yes. Do you remember the story of the woman from, I think she was from Utah. This was in the, I don't know, may have been Tokyo, not Japan, but not Tokyo, because Tokyo
Yeah,
was
Tokyo
summer.
Olympics.
But it was a winter one. It was a while back. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Oh.
Tokyo?
Seoul, Korea?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But doesn't matter. Anyways, she found a loophole to get into the Olympics.
I mean,
it's
I do love that.
I know that we talked about her years and years and years ago.
Sport?
Skiing, down half pipe. And all she had to do was rank in the top 29 of the women, or top 30, I think, of women in the country, but most events didn't ever have 30 women who were even competing in it at the time. So all she had to do was not
Sign
fall.
up.
So she would do the easiest run. And she is, pizza French fry?
Yeah. I am
She's
pizza French fry.
the whole way.
Pizza.
and doing turns, I turn better. Like I am a snowboarder, And it is so funny to see. And then I think they adjusted the rules or did something, but that she got through on that. Now I think there are more women who compete, but the video is worth watching. It's hilarious.
I love that.
So
I love
just
loopholes. I love everything you're saying. What I do not love is how, after this happened, if she had said, I can't even believe I'm here. This is crazy. It just sort of worked out. But instead, not only did she, but all of Australia doubled down and was like, you know what? Breaking is about innovation and creativity. And she showed that. And I was like, okay, now we have a problem.
Something.
Because if we're going to pretend like this is actually what breaking is.
Do you think and I don't know the details and the technicalities and what gets you points and things like that. Is this something where sometimes this is the complaint that skateboarding gets, that skateboarding, when it's technical and when it gets a lot of points and it's certain switches, it's like how you're exiting the ramp and based on how you got all this stuff that I don't know about, it doesn't look as big and dynamic and badass.
That's what you think was happening here?
No, well, maybe that and so people are like, oh, skateboarding, that doesn't even look that great, but they're really technical. Did she do this thing where she was checking the boxes of just being technical enough to...
Well, one of the scoring criterion was...
being on beat?
No.
Oh.
Was literacy, meaning how many moves that you know and are able to execute. Uh-huh. How many did you spot?
Oh, not a lot.
You know what I mean? When I read through what the criteria were,
that was smart that you did that.
Come on,
I'm giving her. I'm giving her. I'm trying to help her out.
She's a great hype lady.
But she looked really good at the closing ceremonies when she was just
oh, really,
kicking it with.
Oh, maybe she doesn't work well under pressure.
I think that might be it. I'll send you a video that I saw that came out, and she looks really good. She looks better. People were like, "Who's this? Why didn't she show up?"
I'll tell you what does work well under pressure, and that is my Nurture Life meals for kids. OMG.
Nurture Life meals for kids / adults who every now and then get that feeling of wanting to... I think nurture is such a good name for it because it's so many different meanings. And then I love it when it says sneaky vegetables hidden in it.
Yeah.
When I was a babysitter, I used to do this for kids.
Nutritionally balanced diets, but with favorites. So Sarah said, they have mac and cheese. Literally while we've been recording, my mom is a nanny, so she watches kids, and I gave her some to give to the kids.
Yeah.
And she's in real time letting me know if they approve or not.
Yeah.
She was like, Maxon loves the wagon wheels, because they're like wagon wheels, mac and cheese or whatever. And these kids are going crazy for this stuff. It's 10 months to 10 years old, but also 45-year-olds.
100. Throw another zero
That's
on
what
there.
I'm saying.
I love it. Beef stroganoff, one of my favorites. Macaroni and cheese, another favorite. Chicken nuggets, love.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. It's about time that a flexible meal subscription existed for babies and kids. So head to nurturelife.com and use code BRAINCANDY for 55% off. That's their best offer anywhere. That's your first order, 55% off. Once again, that's nurturelife.com for 55% off. Make sure you use our promo code BRAINCANDY so they know we sent you. You will be psyched, and your kids will be like, I love you forever. Okay, move on. So, yeah, the thing about the Australian lady, maybe she doesn't work well under pressure, whatever. It just felt weird. It felt like, how did you get here?
It felt very weird.
What happened? What went wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And now they're not going to maybe,
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, and breaking is like, wait, what?
I didn't even think about that angle.
Yeah, like this white lady from Australia is ruining
This is how they got it canceled. Right. I didn't even fucking think about that until this very second.
Yeah.
That is exactly what happened. You know, I can see Australia being like, why is this in here?
Yeah, sabotage.
We want surfing, and we want...
Yeah, only swimming and aquatics, as Sarah would say.
Yeah.
For real. Okay, moving on. I don't know. We'll probably circle back on the Australian
It does
breaking.
feel, a lot of the Olympics, and this is the last thing I'll say, I am like entering that like post-Olympic depression, but a lot of the Olympics, and did I say this before, that it feels like the colonizers playing the colonized, and then I love that because that's what it feels like, and then I love that now it's like those countries are losing to the countries that those sports they brought, like seeing India beat Great Britain, I was like,
you were happy.
That's right, get them. I don't know why. I just liked it because it's like, I bet they have this attitude.
You love an underdog story.
I do love an underdog story, and I like this idea that like, oh, you came over and thought you were going to teach us this game. Well, we'll show you who's really going to teach you a thing or two about this game, and I just love that.
I love that for all of us. Too.
Yeah. So,
all right, Sarah. Do you remember? We've referred to it many times, but we talked on this show about how there's this sort of lore about how, like, in, I don't know, like the 1800s or something, like ladies were like all listless, and maybe it was in the Gilded Age. I don't know. It was like back in the day, women were like all sad, and then their doctors used vibrators and solved the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So put a pin in that. I was reading this article on The Atlantic about this gal who is one of those people that can't climax. And she was describing her experience, which sounds just really frustrating because she has, it's not like she's asexual. Like she has
the desire. Yeah.
Yes. And it gets revved up in the way that everyone else's does. And she's all excited. Right. And then she says it either sort of just like disappears and it goes away, or it like almost gets uncomfortable, but there's no release and there's no like what most people feel at climax. And so the point of the article was about the, she calls it the female orgasm industrial complex. So like all these like people that are being like, you can have an orgasm, like encouraging women to figure it out, get all the toys they need, all the therapy they need, all the maybe like massage or people that can sort of help them get in that zone. Whatever's preventing them, there is like a service for it. So she was sort of writing against that, saying that like they're putting this pressure on
her.
Yeah, that like
because I think it's putting the pressure on the orgasm as the
point.
I mean, yes, and I think the fact that we call it climax and it has that kind of double meaning like that makes it that much more difficult because it puts this pressure and emphasis on an orgasm as being, like you said, the point and like the last, like the finish move, and like that's it. But sex is about so much more. That, if anything, is, it's the journey, not the destination. It's sex. I can't think of anything more fitting for that.
Yeah. Okay.
That we need to put way more emphasis on enjoyable arousal.
Yeah, and just the experience.
And if it results in an orgasm, because there are a lot of people who are unable to achieve orgasm for a number of reasons.
Yeah. And she kept arguing this to her partners, being like, I'm fine. I'm loving it. Like, she's very into her encounters.
Yeah.
She claims that it's super fun. She's loving it. She's like really adventurous, whatever. But she just doesn't happen to get that experience at the end. And then the article also talked a lot about like the thing about how you have the men who like don't care. They're like, do their business and roll over and that's it. But then you have like kind of that guy that's like insisting.
Yep. That is worse, if you ask me.
And it's like two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
It's all about them.
It is. And it's about their experience and dominance and checking the box and like saying that they were able to, that you can feel it.
And so she was like talking about how exhausting that is and also how sad it is. She's been dumped for that reason. Like where they felt like if I can't
it's their own inadequacies.
Okay. So then okay, just as a side note, I also thought like I kind of get what they're saying though, these guys, because like imagine if you had a male partner that couldn't climax.
But that would only matter if he made it a big deal. If he were like,
for real, you wouldn't care?
Yeah, I would not care. Because I am a believer and what people tell me is what I fucking believe. And that's why I've always thought, like, I would have no problem being with somebody who was in a wheelchair, had loss of... Because I think there are so many ways. I've
like
said
if they insisted that they were happy
and they were
and
like,
loving it.
No, look, what? Come on, it's fine.
Okay,
I'm not going to let my fears, doubts, and worries and beliefs on and fantasy that I'm creating of the situation.
It might take some getting used to though, because if you're a person for whom the desire of the other person is an important component, and that's how you interpreted it, like if they...
Yeah, you got to work on how you measure your desire.
I'd have to get used to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, in this article, it linked to a separate Atlantic article in which they talked about that story of how women used to go to the doctor for depression and the doctors would use these vibrators on them and then cure them of their, quote, hysteria.
Right.
And how, like, we've talked about that a million times. It's in pop culture, it's in movies, whatever. And it linked to this article that basically said that all these scholars have come out and said, like, this one woman scholar that published this paper that said that, based it on nothing.
That makes more sense.
It sure does.
It does seem crazy when you say that, because you can understand other very archaic methods of curing things like a lobotomy or bloodletting. Yes. And you can see the line. You can see how they could get to that place.
Yeah.
And there's some connection. But the fact that all you're doing is inducing orgasm, which is something that women can achieve on their own, and then it's like one and done. That's the crazy part, because there's nobody who would be like, oh, one and done.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I think orgasms are kind of like potato chips in
till
that
tomorrow,
way.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I have one, I kind of want more. And so it doesn't make any sense to me that would be the story. It feels more like folklore, and And so
right.
much of, there are so many freaking things that when you actually look into, I don't know, the origins, it's bullshit.
It's not what it appears.
It's not what it appears at all. Like midlife crisis is one that where these phrases came from. The 10,000 hours thing is one. The 10,000 steps is another.
Gladwell.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm getting mad at him.
All
for
right,
no
well,
reason.
let me continue on with that. But first, I'll tell you something else that makes me feel better, and that is ritual vitamins.
Yes.
Freaking love them.
I've been on my Hysteria kick.
Hysteria is great. It's a supplement for skin. And as you know, I'm on a skincare journey.
Yes.
But their multivitamin is great. Their protein powders are great. And I remember when the Pump Club sent me that email that was like, oh, yeah, vitamins are like oftentimes BSing everybody. You have to check on this third party
Yes, you do.
website and make sure it's legit. And then I did. And I was so relieved that I had been partnering with a legitimate organization. But anyway, their skin supplement is wonderful. It's clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, increase smoothness in 90 days. This is like rigorously tested and validated stuff. And they have a deal.
And Sarah tested and validated, which is
Sarah,
probably
tested by Sarah.
more important.
Start Hyacera to help minimize wrinkles without compromising on clean science. Hyacera from Ritual is a clinically proven skin supplement you can actually trust. Get 25% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/braincandy. Start Ritual or add Hyacera to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/braincandy for 25% off. Okay, so Sarah's got her fan out.
Listen, it's hot.
You look so elegant and beautiful.
Thanks. Thank you.
I wish I had a wind machine over here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, in your
Okay,
direction.
so I thought, what the heck? This hooker scholar is just like making shit up. And so the Atlantic went to her and was like, hey, this is so weird. Her last name is
Went
Maines.
to her. She's alive?
Oh, yeah, the scholar that said that about like the vibrators, she was...
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Hang
she's
on
a-
a sec.
Yeah.
Now I really don't believe it. Okay, go ahead.
She's like a modern day scholar who was like interpreting old timey
Nope.
documents. And then when the other scholars looked at the documents, they were like, it doesn't say that.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Like it would say something. And then she would write in her paper that it was like, you know, what do you want to call it? Pelvic massage or vaginal massage. Okay. So they said to her, hey, what the heck? Why are you saying this? And she was like, I never claimed to have evidence that this was really the case. This is a direct quote, by the way. I never claimed to have evidence this was really the case. What I said was this was an interesting hypothesis, and people fell all over it. It was ripe to be turned into mythology somehow. I didn't intend it that way, but boy, people sure took it and ran with it.
Nope, bullshit. We all know. And I think that when you are publishing papers like that, you have an ethical obligation to not mislead the reader. And there's a difference between a catchy headline or title of the study or whatever.
Like academic equivalent of clickbait.
Yes, they do that all the time. It like the amount of lyrics of songs. I'm just
they
like,
love
what?
puns.
Yes, you know, but no, don't. You cannot mislead, and you can't. And that's not your hypothesis. Is not supposed to be the takeaway from. You're going to prove. Oh,
and then she actually said, I'm surprised it took people 20 years to think of this, because I thought at the time, like, people were going to criticize me. Well, don't write it, you dumb bitch.
this is, you know, I feel like in the same way we talked about the Chipotle woman, that this speaks to the system and
that's
how
nice of you to say.
women do not get published and do not get the recognition that they need, often are deserving of academically. So it makes sense that some person in feeling that pressure and wanting the recognition would do something like this.
That's real nice.
And I hate that they do that. So I am going to like...
All right. So Sarah wants to take a systemic approach and say that like this idea of publish or perish, where professors have to publish a certain number of papers in order to get tenure. And if they don't, they get fired.
You put it much more eloquently than I did. Yes. Perfect. That. Yeah. A little bit of that.
I called her a fucking bitch earlier though, so it's fine.
Balance. But also she's fucking it up for women trying to publish papers, because then these stories get out, and this is the same. This is like, I don't like that. Yeah.
Because it's basically confirmation bias. It's this thing where the conclusion is so delicious that we don't want to debunk it. Like, it's so fun to think that this was a thing that happened and that women were getting orgasms from their doctors. And I get what you're saying, and you're trying to be generous and saying like, listen, it's tough in academia, and she wanted to probably get ahead, and that's what she had to do, is sort of like almost like this wink approach where it's like, this is intriguing.
And to get more attention towards, I can see, because nobody goes into unless you're like a fucked up sociopath or something, you don't go into things saying, how can I lie and be deceptive and get away with things. There's some element of wanting to further yourself or keep yourself safe or protect your career or the subject matter, whatever it is, that it's done with, I think, maybe some good intentions behind it and not
I would think that
motives.
more if she sort of dialed back a little bit.
But she did kind of double down. And her like, well, it took you long enough wasn't my favorite.
All right, so I should wrap it up, but actually I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it'll be a fight maybe a little bit.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Get my dukes up.
I guess I just anticipate your point of view on this.
Okay.
I know you... Okay, I'll make it quick because she's real hot over there.
No. I'm doing this for dramatic effect. This is my...
Okay. Have you heard about the sort of movement where people want menstrual leave?
We don't need that. I'm saying that as somebody with endometriosis. We don't need that.
Sarah!
I don't think we need that. I'm saying that I had fucking endometriosis, and if I could go to work, I just did it. And I'm not saying that is it, but here's what I think. I think that we should not be focusing on catering to the symptoms. I think we should be looking at what is causing the problem, because extreme menstrual symptoms are not the norm. Those are symptoms that there is an underlying condition, whether it is PMDD, fibroids, endometriosis, a healthy body with everything functioning normally experiences minor discomfort, but not like we're going to take you out of work kind of thing. I think that it shouldn't be menstrual leave, because that diminishes what is actually going on. Because if you say that I'm out on menstrual leave, I should have been out on leave for endometriosis, where I took 4 months off because I had to have surgery to get it actually cared for stuff. And I think that if we trivialize it by calling it menstrual leave, then it was not going to get the kind of that the things that are causing the symptoms that make it so we need that leave are not going to get the kind of attention that they deserve and need.
Wow.
I'm
psyched.
Take. I'm saying that as somebody who had like the worst cramps ever.
Right. And like, if somebody has that kind of condition, for me, that falls under sick leave.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Sick leave. That is sick leave. Not this other category where we're like, oh, this is this thing for... Nope. You have a medical condition.
Well, because that's what is so weird is the advocates for it are saying, what they're proposing, this isn't sick leave. And so you shouldn't have to take days out of your sick leave for it. Menstruation is just a normal part, but normal menstruation doesn't require a day off.
No, it does not. It does not.
It
and
is
that's a slippery slope because
to.
then they're going to be like, oh, you get menstrual leave? Well, then you can't run a country. No, I'm not playing that game. This is one of those sneaky backdoor things I know this. I remember this. This is like the vote no for gay marriage when you really want gay marriage, but you have to vote against it. They worded it like that to try to make it so people didn't This is that.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yes.
It's a trap. Yeah, we are not fighting about this.
There, even in the
total
article,
agreement.
Like, okay, the places where it's allowed, people are only taking like 1 day a month. I'm like, that's almost 2 weeks a year. That is a lot of time.
Yep. And this is going to come back and be used against us. Mark my words.
Absolutely. And like Sarah said, if you have one of these extreme problems, that is different. And that's why we don't have like cancer leave.
Right.
Because it is a separate thing that everyone knows. You can sort it out. It's under a separate situation. And it is not, oh, my period's here.
Right.
I'm going to like lay in my bed like a weirdo.
We need to get used to discomfort. And a little bit of that is maybe that okay.
Because I feel like a lot of people have something. Like I have migraines.
That's fine. But getting through that is what makes it so you feel like a badass bitch and that you like can handle putting up with the fucking patriarchy and the world and in which this is. I don't think they will. If they're mad at us, then they're not listening to the actual argument because. Because all of those people are going to say, but I have terrible cramps. Yeah, and what do you have? Endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS.
If it's debilitating, you have something else.
Then you have a medical condition, and you should be treated for a medical condition and get sick leave or get disability or whatever you need to take care of that. But that will not get taken care of if it gets lumped into this, oh, she wants to just sit on the couch and watch Real Housewives and, just veg out, which, like, fine, is exactly what I want to do. But we that's not what
Sarah, I really
we're doing
am shocked.
Here. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because, okay, even though you do we still say that you have it?
Yeah, because it's ongoing.
Okay.
And that's why they can't give me the full dose of estrogen to actually make my symptoms of menopause go away because it would grow the endometriosis and we don't want it to grow in any new places.
Okay. So,
the end.
Like, just, you have endometriosis, but...
Yes.
The position you took would be classically considered maybe like a more conservative point of view where it's like, hey, you gotta... Sometimes life's hard. You got to be uncomfortable. That's the way it goes. And some like more progressive, like left wing people are like in that mode of, hey, if you're having a bad day, remember I got into a whole thing whenever I said, if your dog dies, you should take a day off of work.
There's a big difference between dog dying or not like having a bad day and debilitating or impairing function.
Right. And you're saying if it's impairing function, you have something that would fall under the sick leave component. Yeah.
Yes. And I think other things that don't impair function are just our responsibility to learn how to regulate our own emotions and care for it. This is how we practice self-care. This is how we learn. And I think it's all important to do.
Okay. I agree. I can't believe it, but we agree. Yeah. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason Fine was the highlight for me and my accordion.
I'm so glad you got that wonderful birthday.
I'll talk to you more about it later because I definitely did not share all of what I wanted to say about it. But it was truly magical and special. special.
I bet the book club is going to love to hear about it too.
Okay. And Australian hip hop, white lady, weirdo, breaker. I don't know. I don't know what to say to you.
Yep.
And just have an orgasm. But if you can't have them, it's
fine.
okay too.
It's fine.
Don't worry.
Sex isn't all about the O.
You're so right, Sarah.
Yeah. Come on.
Because when I was reading that article, I was thinking about when I was virginal, which was later in life than most, maybe. And I've still enjoyed everything.
A lot of the more fun stuff is the stuff leading up to it. That's why I said it's the biggest, like I can't think of a better
That is so true.
definition of it's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it right, the destination should be like better.
I love you all.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.